I've never felt jealous of someone's grandparents. So, one more time for all the grandparents, parents in the building, please. Please. Wait, that is way too beautiful. Are you doing that the whole time? Oh, all right. All right. You know what? I'll invite you for the next piece, yeah? Because I'm gonna want to fall asleep to that beautiful music. I can't even. Oh my! One more time for the guitar playing, by the way. Open mics like autopsies, commune with perspectives like dissected organs, absorbing the truth within every story until I needed a sedative. I became bored with the negatives, lyrically spliced life as much like roll dice and practice true positivity to laugh on. Elite became immune to negativity like oranges with vitamin C, breaking hinges off the door. If you invited me to a pity party, hardly a force to be reckoned with, infected with so much positivity, I peep pet peeves until my pee is seen clearly. So positive, even the negatives in my mind added a line just to become a plus sign to stop opposing and grow with me. Even my fears want to hang out sometimes. And I hug them until they can cope with the scope of non-existence. It's just what happens when a focused mind has way too much time to think. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. My name is Sean Hill, and I'm pleased to meet you. This is just the first poem that I'm rapping. I'm just a baby waking up from his napping, learning how to walk and talk this life from writing with chalk and concrete, out rocking with break beats. Hip-hop became my training wheels to the point where I could speak. So forget about doing hip-hop. I pop, unlock, and eat hip-hop. I am what I speak, and if you are what you eat, then I am hip-hop. Reincarnated, never debated to be the best. I ain't trying to be nothing less than myself. So help me and not my throat is on fire. I don't mean to burn you. I'm just breaking shackles like Nat Turner, but leave equality like Burundi. See, I'm not a peace Nazi. The paparazzi couldn't stop me from getting the scoop like Cold Stone. I'm home alone in the zone like, oh, fellow, hello. Is anyone out here? If I scream and no one hears me, do I make a sound? Check, marks the box. Like it or not, I don't need your approval for this to be hot. And if it's ice cold, well, I honestly don't know and don't care. But to be fair, I care if it's true. So let's play out the facts. I got your back like chiropractors. I want to be in your scene like the best actors. Hey, your DNA is beautiful, let me be the X Factor. But I gotta get going eventually, so please don't miss me. I'll be back before you know I'm gone. I want to bring you songs better than fairy tales and nightingales. So I'm getting on tracks like John Henry and offend me. Almost impossible. It wouldn't be logical. It's more probable to turn your extra energy into something possible, like world peace. And even then, many say that's highly unlikely, like a lock without a key, but I bend reality. We can all bend reality. We can turn the improbable into the everyday ordinary. Thanks for listening, y'all.
That's all right.
Because I will be up here all day talking, y'all, so we're going to hold you back.
And I think he's going to do a second piece for us a little later. But what I want you to realize is this is a safe space. This is a safe space for you to bring your thoughts, bring your words, and to pour into the community. So if you have a talent that you want to offer to the community, let us know. Because we want to put you up here to help pour into one another. Does that sound good? Yes. Yeah, does that sound good? Right. Yeah. But I also want to tell you, this is my part. You called this into your world today. You called this experience into your life today. How? Maybe you thought you were doing this out of obligation or support for somebody else, but you put a thought out there. I'm seeking, I'm searching, I want more, I want something. I need to be on fire for my spiritual life. And that's what we're here to help you do. A lot of times we don't want to take accountability for the situations we don't like that call into our existence. But that's what we're here to help one another with, because you are powerful creators. So what does that mean? Maybe you didn't directly call something negative into existence. But what I want to get you to is the point where you stop seeing things as positive and negative, and you start asking, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? And how am I supposed to use this to improve my walk? Right? Give it up, because that's really what it's all about. Every day we're trying to figure out how to make it, but I don't want to just be happy and joyful some of the time. I want to live from that space. And I want to take my gifts into every walk of life and not feel like I have to compartmentalize who I am. It should be able to be in everywhere you are. Some of us are entrepreneurs in the building, are we not? Give it up for the entrepreneurs, right? Show of hands. Do you pour your spirituality and your authentic self into your business? Show of hands. That's when it feels real. And you shouldn't have to hold back. A lot of us are from different walks. That's beautiful. Let's celebrate it. Let's not put it under a bushel. Let's figure out how I can take how you heal and help me, and how you might use candles and healing noise. Because guess what? I'm trying to figure it all out and bring it together. That's what we're here to do. So I want to bring up our next piece. We're going to do another, you guys are not going to do a song yet. We're going to bring up Sean one more time, and then we're going to roll into our motivational message, because we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you guys. So, Sean, are you going to bless us with another piece real quick? Okay. Yeah, we want one more piece. And then
Did y'all want more poetry? No.
Yes.
All right. I love seeing people's reactions with that. And like, you gave me like a super head nod. You're like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. That was great. Before I do this next one, and I wouldn't be a poet unless I did a poem about love, right? I wouldn't be a poet. Let me ask y'all first, how many of you are in love right now? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you are in love also with yourself, with family, with cat videos? Whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? It can be like any kind of unconditional love. All right, cool. How many of you really, really want to be in love, in the sense of like love? And you just saw like The Notebook like too many times this week, right? 7 pounds on repeat. All right, cool. And then, last but not least, how many of you know what love is? All right. I love seeing the hands change on that question. All right. Yes, it is. Why you gotta point it out though? Like, all right. So, she said, "I know what it's not." And a on that the side order. Y'all should be up here. This is nice. Y'all are fun. All right. So the thing is, this is based on a true story. That's based on another true story. That's based on one other true story that I made up. Okay. Loving you is easy because you're beautiful. It's funny how long it took me to say that to you. Building up courage like Lego blocks to say something so basic, so factual. You are beautiful. It's funny because it's not so hard now. See, at first I kept thinking about how it meant so much to say it. Like saying that to you means I like you, and your response might mean that you like me, and that result would be crazy. Because then I wouldn't know what to do next. And the truth was, I didn't really know what to do when I first said it. I was so excited about possible futures. And saddened by a few regretful pasts, somehow the last thing I even thought about was now. So now, I'm fully present. I'm so present you can open me. I'm so present that when a first grade teacher asks who is present in class, all the kids respond with my name. You guys get that one? No? I'm so present that when Michael J. Fox traveled back to the past to go back to the future and then back to the past again, he realized he was me anywhere he went. The present, right now, you are so beautiful. And no, it's not a compliment. It's a fact. It's a truth. It's like saying birds sing, or the sky is blue, or the ocean has tides, and And even then, you were just as beautiful as nature, because without you, the ocean doesn't want to wave anymore. Without you, mountains don't feel hardcore, and they just don't want to rock out anymore. Without you, stars told me they would actually get neutered. Y'all get that? Because their balls of gas is like suicide first sight. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. You would never want to wish that upon. No, astronomy lovers, right? That's cool. So basically what I'm trying to say is, please keep existing. Please keep being you. And I know I don't really need to ask you to do this, since you're so good at doing it. You do it without a question. It's a lesson I keep teaching myself. So thank you for reflecting that lesson so I could see me and be me. Truly, thank you, and I love you. Not a compliment. It's a fact. You are beautiful. Remember, y'all, it's not a compliment. It's a what?
Fact.
Oh, say it like you mean it.
Fact.
One more time.
Fact.
Oh, well done, y'all. Well done. Give it up for yourselves, please, for being beautiful. Thank you. And the thing is, you know what? Come on down. I'll say this while you're right next to me, actually. Every time I'm invited to any kind of space of this, is actually this level of opening and just welcoming and heart opening. It's one of the most refreshing things on the planet. And I call places like this a little touch of world peace. Because it's where we're actually coming and we're seeking, like you said, to open up and actually admit that we don't know everything, and we want to get better at being ourselves, at being a human being. And that's okay. And I love any place that can admit their vulnerabilities, and that we want to grow together as a community. So thank you again for having me. Thank you again for this space. Thank you so much. One more time for the core, y'all.
Guys, so I mean, he's sharing his gifts in this intimate space and has really been around the world, literally. And so I am so thankful for anybody that's willing to pour into this environment, and all of you for being here. I want to thank you for showing up. This is a season where we're constantly giving, and everyone is expressing giving, but that's just it. We want to live from that space 365 days a year, but not only that, I commend you for pouring inward today, because that's really what this is about, pouring into yourself first, so then you have something to give to somebody else. Do you agree? Oh, yeah. All right, clap that up. So as an organization, Core, we're going to be doing spiritual retreats, vision board parties, coaching. Coaching on a couple level is really what we specialize in, but you know, it's going to also format into workshops and other kind of fellowship services like this. They're not going to look the same. They're not going to feel the same, because we want to, again, challenge you, grow you. And we want to hear from you. We want you to tweet out. We want you to follow us on TheCoreofU. Use the hashtag TheCoreofU and let people know what's going on here. Invite them back to other events. We want you to feel at home here. Take ownership of this community. We want to go out and do community outreach. I have Sherry Robertson in the building who build houses in Chile. You know, Sean went over and, like he said, opened up schools in Nepal and Nepal, and you need to, Nepal. I combined it, right? And so the thing is, we've got our own community here. How many of us have sent items back to hurricane victims, right? How many have us, have walked down the street and given out to the homeless? And I know people in the building have done that and given clothes away. Like, we need to continue to challenge one another to give back as well. So that's what Core is. So I hope you have a good understanding of how you can fit in here and how you can come back and how you can help us build this community. And so what I want to leave with you before I bring up the other founder and also acknowledge the Core team. Core team, I want you to stand up. We have our own Marquise Page. We have Tasha Champion, Takia Poindexter. I have Alina Mears, Mallory Curry, Crystal Prince is in the building, but they help bring this vision to life. You guys, and I mean, this has been a spiritual baby that we've been ringing and having laboring pains for years. It was a vision, and it took people praying for us and telling us, just go, just start. Because sometimes you don't know how to start. You're like, what do I do? What does it look like? It's December. Nobody's going to want to come out. But guess what? You showed up and you helped us, and this is just the beginning, guys. So I want to tell you, we're about you honoring your individual uniqueness in a spiritual oneness. Don't lose who you are, but bring that to this spiritual community and make it better. Honor your individual uniqueness, but let's come together on a spiritual oneness. Does that sound good?
Yes.
So, I told you a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm an attorney by day, but guess what? I help people. I did DACA clinics recently. I help people, that couldn't afford it, do their estate planning and wills and things like that. And so that's what I'm about. Like, now you know what I do in my day job, but I've been a minister in the Spiritual Israel Church, and I also believe my specialty in heart feelings is with women empowerment. And recently I did a Reflections of Self workshop with Champion Empowerment and other women. We poured into women, and we did it, and that's my personal walk. That's what makes me qualified. But guess what? I've been broken, and I've needed healing, and I still do, and that's why I'm here. Because I said if I need it, other people need it, right?
Yes.
So I'm here to help grow and bring others along. So maybe you don't think it makes me qualified, but that's my authentic self.
All right.
And my husband, my friend, my confidant, Kenneth Page, this man has come back from things that in his natural life, things that have happened to him, and that's why he mentors me, because his strength is just a testimony to you can keep going. You can keep going, and not only can you keep going, you can keep going and actually get better and say, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm happy, and people know it and mean it. He's a singer. He served our country as a policeman and a veteran. He was in the Army, and now he's at the Spiritual Israel Church as my pastor as well, and he's been doing the minister walk since he was 13, you guys. But like me, we in our separate walks, he was getting his 3rd degree as a master's in divinity, and I had been on the board of the Spiritual Direction Ministry and did my own theology courses at the Israel Spiritual School of Theology, as well as I'm in a certified healers course right now. Shout out to my certified healer class and Elise Harlow, my coach. We, in our individual uniqueness, said, hey, we want a space together where people can come. And so this kind of organically formed. It wasn't something that was kind of planned. It organically came up through Spirit. And so we want to share that with you today. I want to bring him up, and I want him to pour into you guys as he often does. And I just want him to share his gifts with the community of restoration and enlightenment. Kenneth Page.
If you wanna make look at yourself and make that change. Na 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 na. I've been a victim of selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there's some new home, not a nickel too long. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? Oh, will they please God somebody's broken heart and a washed out dream? They follow the pattern on when you see that they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror, and I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. You gotta get it right, gotta get it right. You can't close your mind, yeah. The man in the mirror, oh yeah. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. Na 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 na. It's gonna feel real good, yeah. Na 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 na. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna feel real good, yeah. Na 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 na. Make that change.
So glad to see you guys today. So glad to see all of you out. This has been a crazy little run for us, but we're here. We're happy to see so many that are here. For those that are on Facebook Live, wherever you may be, my family back on the East Coast, we love you. We thank you for tuning in. We just want to pour into you for a little while, if you don't mind. Is that all right? I haven't got everything right in my life, but I can definitely tell you what not to do.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yes.
1 second. B. Yes, please. So today, we won't be here too long, right? But as life goes, sometimes things happen and you're inspired. You're inspired to speak on certain events that are real, you know, and I've been blessed in my life at a young age. Sometimes I'm sitting somewhere and I see something and I take it and I use it in my messages or to inspire someone or whatever. So there was something that happened to me that I went on a plane. How many people here have been on a commercial flight? Commercial flight anywhere, wherever you may have been. And when you're on that commercial flight, you know, they take you through this whole little, you know, safety and, you know, thing that they've always done. Now, if you're like me, you kind of just got your headphones on, you're listening to your music, or you're trying to get comfortable, or you're worried about that little kid behind you, hoping and praying that he doesn't kick your seat all the way where you're going. So if you're like me, you're giving him that evil look, saying, "Hey, I'm watching you. You better sit down." But the last time I was on a commercial flight, I had my children with me this time, and they're young, and something different happened. I actually listened to the whole safety speech. I did, and I've been fortunate to be on many, many flights, but this time I actually tuned in. And as they were going, and then as I was listening, and then some of it was automatic or whatever, they had like an automatic recording. They got to this certain point where they said, "Our cabin is currently being pressurized for your comfort. Although a change in cabin pressure is not anticipated, if oxygen were needed, an oxygen panel would drop from a compartment above your seat. To start the flow of oxygen, simply reach up, pull down on the mask until the tubing is fully extended. Place the mask over your nose and mouth and breathe normally. The oxygen bag may not appear to inflate. However, oxygen is flowing. For those traveling with small children or passengers needing assistance, what's the next part? Secure your own mask first. Then assist that passenger. Continue to use oxygen until otherwise specified by a uniformed crew member. And as I'm looking at this, as I didn't pay attention before, I'm really paying attention now. And Mom and I got my son in my hand. She has our daughter in her hand. We're both looking at one another like, yeah, right. If that happens, this mask come down, I'm putting my mask on my son. She knows she's going to grab my daughter and put the mask on her. But when you go back and you study it, at a cruising altitude of 30,000 feet, it takes only seconds to become disoriented and pass out due to lack of oxygen. The condition developed from lack of oxygen when depressurization in the plane occurs is called hypoxia. Right? So as I'm thinking about this, I'm saying, wow, I wanted to speak on that right there. Put your mask on first. Because so many of us in this room right now are givers. I'm looking at a lot of you. We're givers. We give. Sometimes we give until it hurts. We give so much of ourselves to our families, to our friends, to our jobs, to our church, to everybody else, that when you get home at the end of the day, what's left for you? At core, we're not trying to, create a world of selfishness, all right? That's not what we're trying to talk about here today. There's enough selfish people in this world. But if you don't take care of you, you'll be no good to take care of nobody else. Is that all right? Just like the thing with the mask. If I don't put my mask on first, how am I going to be able to help my son and my daughter? If daddy doesn't take care of himself, exercise, eat right, think a little better, how can I pour into my son and make him a healthy man when he grows up? So put your mask on first. That's what we're going to talk about today. Is that all right? If you don't take care of yourself, you can experience burnout, stress, fatigue, reduced mental effectiveness, health problems, anxiety, frustration, inability to sleep, and even death. If you don't put your mask on first.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yes.
For some of my Bible readers in here, a lot of times they read, there's a passage in Mark, and it says, when they were talking to, they came to Jesus and they asked him some questions. They were always trying to trick him, right? And they asked him a question, what's the most important rule, what's the most important law, the commandment on the planet? And he answered them in Mark 12:29. He said, the most important one to answer Jesus is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. The second is this. Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. A lot of times you'll hear love your neighbor, but they'll often leave out the part as yourself. How can I truly, authentically love my neighbor if I don't love myself? How can I truly, authentically love my children or teach them about love if I don't love myself? My daughter is 3 years old. And if mom and I have a disagreement in the house, we have to make sure we keep our energy in at least a stable place. Because at 3 years old, she knows. She knows what's going on. She's in tune. My son, they'll get the pans and start beating them. They know. And what they're saying is, we need you guys' attention right now. Right? They know what's going on. So in order for me to pour into them, and to try to get them to a place where they're going to be at least decent human beings, in this crazy, crazy world we live in, I have to make sure that I put my mask on first. We're here today. This is part of putting your mask on first. We're here at this moment right now to help you learn, or to, maybe you're already doing it, just to maybe reinforce that you're putting your mask on first. Is that all right?
Amen.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
And in this life, we have to teach people how to love us. We walk around expecting people to just know automatically. I met my wife, she was looking good, and I was feeling good. And we started dating. There were things about her that I had to learn. She had to teach me how to love her. I had to teach her how to love me. I didn't have a lot of things growing up. So for my birthday, I'm looking for a gift. She didn't have a lot of things growing up either, but for her birthday, she wants to talk. She wants to plan life out. She said, babe, that's so sexy. Babe, that's so sexy. I'm like, it is? Oh, well, we can do this at any time. You're a cheap date. That's all right. She want to plan things out. But that's our space. That's us for one another. We're still learning every day how to love one another. And in this world, every day you have to teach people how to love you. Because people will use you, misuse you, and abuse you. And a lot of times it's our fault. Because we don't set boundaries, and we fail to teach people how to love us. You have to have boundaries in all things that you do. Because if you don't, people will use you up. Have you ever, show of hands, have you ever had, think about this first, listen to me, that friend that calls and just dumps all on you, spiritually so. Just dumps all of their negative energy on you. Everything negative. They haven't stopped, didn't even say good morning. Didn't ask you how your day was doing. Are you out of the bed yet? Did you get some cereal yet? They just dump all their negative energy on you. Now you're sitting at home with a cigarette and a little glass of wine at 8 o'clock in the morning. Because they just poured all of that negative energy on you. And guess what? Now they're at the beach feeling good. Yes. They just totally released. We cannot allow ourselves to be spiritual garbage dumps for other people. I don't care if they're your best friend. Now, sometimes, yeah, you go there and you ride with your friend, but they can't. If you're the one that's always giving and it's never being reciprocated, it's time for you to check who your friends are. Because those are not friends. Those are what I like to call leeches. So every day we're learning what? To put my mask on first. Is that all right?
Yes.
And it's so beautiful because I was riding one day and I was like, wow. One of the ways that we can learn to put our mask on first, we can reduce a lot of stress simply by eliminating the things that we tolerate. In some of our lives, we tolerate so much that's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. What is toleration? It's the rug that you trip over every day, going to the kitchen, and instead of just flattening the rug out or just throwing it out, you trip on it every day, getting upset. Whose fault is that? It's your own. It's important to note that one person's toleration is another person's way of life. Sometimes the things that you're tolerating, this person is doing that to you, to somebody else, to somebody else, to somebody else, and you're allowing it in your life and you get upset every day. And it's nobody's fault but our own. So we have to learn to put our mask on first. Is that all right? Yeah. What you allow is what will continue. And I think maybe you might just write this one down. Because I was riding one day, or just keep it in your mind. Whatever it is, I want you to think about this one. You promote what you permit. I'll say it again. You promote what you permit. If you allow it to be, guess what's going to happen? It will be. We can be flexible about how we do things, but we shouldn't be flexible about why we do things. The why. The intent behind why we do things. Is that all right? Make sure we get to a place in our lives that when I wake up in the morning, my intention is positive. My intention is right. My intention is good. Now, it's not going to always end that way. It's not going to always be that way because people are going to try you. They're going to try your patience. They're going to try your love. They're going to take your kindness for weakness. You have no control over what anybody else does. The only control you have control over is self-control.
That's right.
So I can't really, it doesn't matter how you treat me. It matters how I respond to the way you treat me.
That's all right.
And if I set boundaries, I'm only going to allow you to treat me negative for so long. After a while, I'm going to find a new space and a new place. Anybody here need to work on putting their mask on first?
All right.
Every day, I know that I'm working. Every morning when I wake up, I'm working to put my mask on first. Is that all right?
Yes.
People who clear up tolerations often find that it opens up space for their creativity and intuition. So I'm going to challenge you right now, right here today, but when you go home in the next 7 days, this is my challenge to you. Get rid of 3 of your biggest tolerations. Get rid of them. Oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, it's going to be difficult. That's going to be tough. 3 things that you tolerate in your life. Remember, tolerate doesn't mean you have to. Get rid of 3 things that you tolerate in your life, and I guarantee you'll have more peace going on to the next day. Try it. Call us. Let us know. We have to make sure that we establish healthy outlets. We have to make sure that we pray more, meditate, whatever it is that you do to make sure that you have a healthy outlet. Maybe you just run outside and just scream to the heavens. Whatever it is, it has to be a healthy outlet. So many people go to outlets that are unhealthy. And then guess what happens? They end up in the hospital because of what they did was unhealthy. So at Core, we're just trying to ask people to be better versions of themselves. And it's not that you're not good enough, but don't you want to wake up every day being the best version of yourself? When you apply for that new job, don't you want to do it as the best version of yourself? When you get into that relationship, you want to do it as the best version of yourself? Because sometimes we get in relationships with men or with women or with friends, whatever it is, and we're still tied to our past. We're not really in a relationship with the person that we're in. We're still cheating with them on our past. Some of the negative that went on in our past. We're actually cheating on them. The person you're with now is just really the side piece. Because every day I wake up, I'm in the bed with fear. I'm in the bed with hate. I'm in the bed with disbelief. And so now the new person that I'm dealing with, they can never get to the authentic me because all they're dealing with is my past. I'm going to give you a little something that I picked up along the way that allowed me, not that I have all the answers, not that I have it all right, but something that I apply to my life that will really allows me to really operate more as my authentic self. And you got to kind of get a little selfish with it sometimes. Because if you don't do it, like I said, at the end of the day, you won't be able to help anybody. And for some of you mothers in here, or some of you wives in here, or some of you aunts, uncles, whoever it is in here that just always pouring out to other people, you're no good to the family if you're laying in a hospital bed. Is that all right?
Amen.
So, there are so many things you're going to die without knowing. Don't let one of them be yourself. Don't let one of those things be yourself. So it's important that we try to learn and know who we are before we engage in any relationships with anybody else. Because once I know who I am and I operate from that place, then the boundaries are going to be set automatically. And last but not least, I picked up something one time that I thought was really beautiful in my life. And it was, if you took a cup and you took a cup and you put it in, and I was going to bring my show and tell today, but I didn't bring it, but that's all right. I just want you to picture a cup. And I want you to take that cup and sit it on a saucer. And I want you to take a pitcher of water, and the pitcher of water represents, so the cup represents you. The pitcher of water represents all the things that you do in your life to put your mask on first. So as you pour a little bit into the cup, maybe it's prayer. As you pour a little more into the cup, maybe it's just, I want a more intimate relationship with God. As I pour a little more into the cup, maybe that is, I'm going to surround myself with better people. As I pour more into the cup, I'm going to spend more time with people that will pour into me, not people that are always taking from me. I'm going to eat a little better. I'm pouring into the cup. I'm going to do yoga. I'm pouring more into the cup, right? So all of these things you're doing, eventually, when you get to the top, what's going to happen? It's going to fill up, and then it's going to overflow.
Right.
When it overflows, the cup with the water in it, that's you. Nobody gets that. Nobody gets that. That's you. What you really should be serving from is the overflow from the saucer. That's what you really should be serving from every day in your life, is the overflow from the saucer. Why is that? Because if you take that same cup and you start pouring out, I'm doing for my children, I'm doing for my husband, I'm doing for my wife, I'm doing for school, I'm doing for work, I'm doing for everybody else, at the end your cup is going to be empty. And if I don't take care of myself better in this life, in this world, we were put here to be the best versions of ourselves. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't take down for anybody. Don't let anybody tell you less. How can I do that? It's making sure that I pour into me as much as I can, and everybody else will receive from that saucer. Is that all right?
All right.
We're going to be better at putting our mask on first, and then we'll be better equipped to serve other people. I thank you.
Let's give it up for Kenneth Payne. Self-produced. That's what it's all about. When the world won't give you a mic, take the mic, right? Take the mic. That's right. Go ahead. Right. That's right here. And Tack is on the guitar. He's part of our community. Let's give it up for Tack. It's been fun. So you guys, one of the core community members had something on her heart to say. So I'm going to let Spirit give way, and when she is done, then I will come back up and close us out in prayer. But those, I don't want you to leave. I want you to engage in the juicy part, which is the conversation between all of us where we get to pour into one another.
All right.
So one of our young members, Destiny Champion, one of the younger ones of the community, wants to pour into us. So let's bring her up.
Hi, I'm Destiny Champion. Wait, is this on?
Yes.
I'm 18 years old, and I know that a lot of people in here are like, 18? Oh, I'm already judging her. Why is she so young? Why does she have to tell me I'm way older than her? Blah, 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 blah. But I'm actually very wise. And typically in my life, I come to tons of realizations throughout the months, throughout the years. And currently my realization right now is that you guys need to stop drinking in front of your kids, because I can't have fun at parties. And I know you guys are like, what? Why can't she have fun at parties? Because I need to stop drinking in front of my kids. Because when I go to parties, I have to take care of the drunk kids that are already on the floor. And I hope and pray that they end up going home to their parents. I walked into a party and this boy was drunk. I had been at the party for probably about 2 hours, and he was still passed out on the couch. He was passed out long before I got there during the day. I got there at night. And I said, oh my God. And I wanted to do something. Everybody's like, oh, leave him alone, leave him alone. Well, it's me, so I'm not going to leave him alone. And so as he's sitting there on the couch, unconscious, I just rubbed his head, and I kept talking to him. And I said, hey, I know you can hear my voice. I said, and I know it's really hard for you to open your eyes right now. I said, because you're really, really drunk, but that's okay. I just want to give you some water, and I just want to make sure that you're okay. And then from past experiences, I used to see my aunt make pancakes when everybody got drunk. So that way the next morning they wouldn't wake up with a hangover. Or I remember she told me, she said, when you get drunk, you get very, very dehydrated. And so in my mind, as I'm taking care of him, I'm like, okay, he needs water, and he's really hot, so he needs something that's going to cool him off. And so I'm just sitting there, I'm like, go get me an ice pack, go get me some water, go get me this, go get me that. And I had him take off his shirt. Now, again, all these kids are just looking at me like, oh my God, what is she trying to do to him? She's crazy, da 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 da. But knowing me, I'm ignoring them. And the sad thing is that his friends would come over to him, and they would put his finger under his nose to see if he was still breathing, as his way to check on him, to make sure that he was okay. And so, of course, me being me, I was backing away, like, move, leave me alone, I got this. And I kept talking to him. Everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. I just kept talking to him. And I said, look, just open your eyes. I got the ice pack on his neck, because I feel like that's the hottest place, you know. I got the ice pack on his neck, and he started opening his eyes. And I almost gave up. And when he opened his eyes, my heart melted. I was, oh, thank God. Because I can only imagine my mom calling my phone, like, you know, and me not answering, not knowing when I'm going to come home, just losing it. I can only imagine. And so his eyes are open, and I'm just like, so you can hear me? And he didn't say anything. I said, you can either nod your head or you can squeeze my hand. And he lightly squeezed it. So I felt like he was really drunk. If you can lightly squeeze it, so I felt like he couldn't really feel me. So I just told him, nod his head, and I'm getting him up and getting him up. That was only the first time. This has not happened once or twice. This has happened multiple times. So please, stop drinking in front of your children. Because when your children are young, even if you don't think that they're going to take it into their memory, even when they're 3 years old, they're still going to take that into their memory. Your brain takes up everything. I might be looking at you right here, but my brain's still taking in everything right here. And when I think back to this moment, I'm going to look at the entire room. And so your kids are seeing that, and they're saying, oh, okay, if I drink, it's a good time. Even though you tell them, no, don't do it, but I'm doing it, they still think that it's a good time. So when I go out, just trying to, because I sit in the corner when I'm at parties, kind of like a wallflower. And so when I go out, just to enjoy something, I can't do that. Because they're thinking that it's okay to drink their sorrows and their pains away, but it's not. What would have happened if I wasn't there? What if the ambulance had to get called? And then the parents of that party, the owners of the house, they get in trouble because of this, you know, just the domino effect of everything that's happening. So please, I want to enjoy my time. Stop drinking in front of your children. Please. It's a very, very hard thing because everyone looks at me like I'm crazy. I ignore it, but it's so sad because not only do I see them passed out and unconscious, I feel their hurt because I'm trying to heal them. And it hurts a lot. And you can't always take in someone's hurt. You have to end up letting that go. You have to let that go. Second thing, I have a friend. He is 17 years old, and he hits his girlfriend. And I don't mean just hits, he beats her. She goes home with bruises on her. He punches her in the nose. She's always bleeding from her nose. And she's only like 15. What? Yeah, it's bad. And my mom called me one day. She said, Destiny, I feel like you need to tell somebody something. Like whatever message that you need to deliver to them is very strong, it's very powerful. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, huh? Like, I barely even have friends. Like, no one's gonna call me. And my friends will happen to call me. I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm just talking to him. And then I said, what was your childhood like? Because the way that you think now and the decisions that you make all come from your childhood, whether you want to accept it or not. So I said, what happened with your parents when you were a child? And he's like, oh, I don't live with my real mom. I live with my stepmom. So okay. I'm like, what about your dad? He's like, oh, I live with my real dad, but like, it's kind of not my real dad. You know, very little story. I said, okay. And he said, well, I stopped living with my parents when I was about 5. And I said, why? He said, oh, my dad used to beat my mom. I said, really? And he said, yeah, but I don't really remember it. And I said, but don't you think the reason why you beat your girlfriend is because your dad used to beat your mom? He said, no, I don't remember that. Like, I was so young. And, you know, there's only so much that you can tell someone until they want help themselves. And so, in my mind, I'm just like, oh my God. Even when he was 3 years old and he can't necessarily remember every detail about it, his brain, the subconscious mind, is in there, and as his girlfriend's saying, I don't want you to play Xbox, I want you to pay attention to me. He's bam, shut up, leave. Just like his mom and dad used to do. And I was thinking about that as I was driving in the car today, and I just said, wow, children get influenced by everything. It's so powerful. And like Ken said, when, say they get into arguments or whatever, keep that energy somewhere else. If you're looking ahead, you're like, all right, I'm about to go off my head. Say, okay, I'm gonna go off on you in the other room. I'm not gonna do it in front of the kids. Please. Your kids feel the energy. If they can't talk, if they can't express it, just like children with autism, they might not be able to say the words. They can feel it. The feeling is way more than expressing, because not everybody can express what they feel, but they feel it. So please, be your best version of yourself in front of children. And just also realize that they're so precious. And it takes a village to raise children. And that village is not just from your family and family friends. That village is the entire world. But if you can give them the best village from the beginning, then maybe they can start in helping someone else's village. And then continue on. And so that's what I have to say today.
I'm not going to question it. It was unscripted, but destiny, it was on our heart to say that. So maybe somebody needed the courage to leave a situation. Maybe somebody somewhere needed to hear that, because I'm not going to question it. That's between you and whatever you call that higher source. God, universe, Father, Mother, God. So I believe in prayer. I believe in speaking over my life. I believe in doing it daily in different ways. In the morning, it's affirmations. I have my 3-year-old saying, Mommy, say affirmations. Say affirmations. We look in the mirror and we say them. And I also get into my prayer. She'd be like, no, that's the prayer. Say it. Sometimes I'm riding down the street and it'll be a good rap song or a good folk song or any kind of song. And I will change the words and go into prayer. And I'm just talking, and I am just relating with spirit, and the tears start coming down. Who are my shower prayers in here? Who are the people that get in the shower, and that's like when you hear spirit? Who are my car prayers in here? Who's my car prayers, okay? And who is just, maybe you just like yell out over a situation, peace be still, or, somebody I know. She says the devil is a lie. I think we all, she'll just yell it out. But whatever it is, mine is, I trust you. I trust you. When I start feeling that fear rise up, I just say, I trust you. And then what's the best prayer we all know? Thank you, right? A 2-word prayer. Thank you. When you start vibrating low, just push everything to the side and find something to be thankful for. So, however you pray, maybe you want to touch and agree, maybe you want to stand, maybe you just want to close your eyes, maybe you kneel to the east, whatever it is you do, we're going to do that together. As we roll into the 2018 calendar year, personally, my new year, I kind of count from my birthday. Yeah, that's my personal new year. But as we roll into this new calendar year, let's take some people with us on this journey to that higher plane. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm on high, I don't want to be there alone. I want to take somebody with me, right?
All right.
So we're going to go into this 2018. We're going to pray our way out of 2017. And we're going to claim everything that's already ours. We're going to thank the universe for already sending us that breakthrough. Maybe some of us need to touch lives. Maybe some of us have that career that we know God anointed from us, that gut feeling, that movie you're supposed to be making, that script you're supposed to be writing, that person you're supposed to be operating on, that case you're supposed to be litigating, that book you're supposed to be writing, that song you're supposed to be singing, that business you're supposed to be opening the doors on, that classroom you're going to elevate to the next level for our teachers, you know, that house you're supposed to build. What is it that you know God has put in you to do? Those children you're taking care of, whatever it is that God has put on your heart to do. And sometimes it feels like, why are there these blocks? Me and my girlfriend, we have a saying, stay in position. Lord, I ask you as we come into that higher vibration. I call you God of Israel. Others in the room might call you something else, but I'm coming to you in humble, bended knee. First, thanking you for everyone under the sound of my voice. Thanking you for everyone that is touched by someone in this room. We're asking for their covering too. We are doing a worldwide prayer because there are a lot of people hurting out there, a lot of broken people that need to know you're already whole. You're already good enough. You are already okay. You don't need any further validation. There are people that need to feel the presence of something more than them. Because what do you do when you get to the end of yourself? Father, we're asking that you come into this room and you touch every heart. You touch every heart that has doubt. And we want to evict that and bring in faith and confidence. That thing that you put on the hearts of those to do under the sound of my voice, I want you to give them a little more courage and a little more creativity, because sometimes there's a way made and we just don't see it. So we're asking you to open up our eyes and give us the strength to walk in our purpose. Each and every one of us has something we have been put here to uniquely do. And I'm asking that you allow us to do it at the highest level by speaking words of power into our own life. We are divine. We have favor. We are all blessed. We are all unique. We are all loved. We are coming together and saying thank you. Can I hear a thank you? Thank you. Thank you for what you've already done in our lives. Because I didn't always have my own home. I didn't always have my own car. I didn't always have things that I could go and say, I paid for this. Before that was mine, it was mama doing it for me. And guess what? There was never a day that I went hungry as long as somebody opened their door. So we need to think back to where we came from and some of the times where it felt so hard and how are we going to do it? And then when you realize and fast forward to the eternal now, you realize, wow, Spirit, God, universe, you've always been taking care of me. You've always been there, carrying me, pushing me. That subtle, small, still voice in our hearts, Lord, let us hear it. Let us hear it and take confidence that we are right where we're supposed to be this morning. We gave up a Saturday to come commune with other like-minded people and allow us to take that through our week, through our month, into our year, and speak over our lives. Abundance, prosperity, growth. Sometimes it's right there and we don't see it. We don't see the clients that are right around us. We don't see the opportunities, the people already in our phone that are our network that we need to rely on. Sometimes we just need to reach out and say, this is what I need, and let it all come to me. me. I thank you for building the core team. I thank you for building this community of restored and enlightened people. I thank you for opening our eyes. I thank you for giving us love, putting people around us to build us up, putting a voice in our heart to speak out in the world. We are all unique and we are ready. We are at your service, Lord. So as we go about our day, go before us. Show us the way to walk. Allow us to hear you. Allow us to be our most authentic selves in everything we do. And we want to bring in love. We want to bring in joy. And we want to bring in high vibration. And so it is.
So it is.
All right, you guys, let's clap it up. Energy. Clap it again. Noise. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Thank you for our first TheCoreofU. Turn off Facebook Live, but before we do, I do want to say, you guys, this was on our hearts to do. The team that helped us build it, my husband and I. So our plan and what we're putting in, speaking out to the universe is that we're going to do this every 8 weeks. We did this out of our own pockets today, and we're asking for the blessings to allow us to keep doing that, to find places where we can meet. In the summer, it'll be the beach and the park. But right now, it's a little chilly outside and unpredictable. So, we hope to outgrow homes. We hope to outgrow meeting spaces. But if it's on your heart, if you know other people, tweet it out. Let them know. We are on PayPal at info@TheCoreofU. You can write checks to I Live Entertainment. We are here. We're gonna keep doing it all in our pockets because we're pouring seeds in. But if you like our cause, if you like what we're about, maybe if you don't have the financial resources, but pray for us. Please tell other people we're out there. Tell them what we're trying to do, and come be with us. Come commune with us. Give us your ideas, because we're going to keep doing this no matter what. Right? This is just the beginning. So please follow us on Instagram at TheCore, COROF, letter U, for that unique you, that unison you. And we're going to be doing a co-ed couples conversation coming up soon in early 2018. We're going to be doing couples retreats. We have a launch of our new website, thanks to Miss Tasha Champion. It's coming out soon, where you can go to the old one and sign up on our mailing list, but we want you to also sign up and just come back and keep playing with us. This is our spiritual sandbox. Children, they're uninhibited. They just go up and walk and start playing. So this is our spiritual sandbox, all right? There's a slide of thank yous. Can you put that up? Because I'm big on gratitude. I don't know where the clicker is. They say that I overthink. I don't know how to do it. But I believe in that you can never thank people too much. So I just want to change to the slide of our gratitude. And thanks. And what we're going to do is get your coffee, get your water. I know I already have a couple questions and a couple things. So let's just put up our thank you. And there's another part of our list. Okay. These are just the people who came together today for this. You guys are here. I want to thank everybody that showed up in the building. But this was not just an effort on our own. And, I just want to make sure, if you could even turn the camera towards the screen, I just want to make sure people know that we see you, we hear you. If it was just greeting people, Ashley Turner's over our children, so she couldn't hear the message. I'm big on, if we can do something better. People would come up to me, they're like, you got to do better with social media. I'm like, teach me, show me. Whatever it is, help. I'm vulnerable. We're transparent. And then I got my god babies here, Paris, Naomi. They're helping me with the social media. My sister Inco brought them. I see you. I thank you, because we couldn't birth this child alone. It takes a village to keep the village going, all right? So we're going to close out. We're going to let the musicians, give it up for the musicians. They're so beautiful. We're going to let them go. We're going to turn up the lights, and we're going to start having a spiritual conversation. Does that sound good? And thank you for all our Facebook family. Come back, join us, and come in person next time. It's even better. All right. Thank you, guys.